Vishali, welcome Vishali. Good evening. Can you able to hear my voice? Janaki? Janaki, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Can you able to hear my voice, ma?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Can you please host Miss Vishali, ma?
Okay, ma'am.
Vishali? Vishali, are you able to hear my voice now? உனக்கு கேக்குதா? நான் கேக்கு Vishali? Vishali? Janaki, she's not here a voice, ma. I don't know what is the...
Her mic is mute. Better ask her to unmute so that time you will come.
Vishali? Welcome, Vishali.
Yeah, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. Few minutes, shall we wait?
Yeah, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Okay, I'll start. Shall we start the program?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Mridula,
Yes, ma'am. Good evening to one and all present here. It's an immense pleasure to invite you all to the webinar, EduTech Startups and Student Safety under Consumer Protection Law, organized by Institution Innovation Council and Citizen Consumer Club of Princely Venkateswara Arts and Science College. Let's begin our specious event with Tamil Thai Vayu. Now I request Gopika from 3rd BCom 8 to sing Tamil Thai Vayu.
நீராறும் கடலுடுத்த நிலமடந்தை கெழிலொழுகும் சீராறும் வதனமென திகழ்பரத கண்டமிதில் தெக்கணமும் அதிசிறந்த திராவிடனல் திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு பிறை நுதலும் தரித்தனரும் திலகமுமே திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிலமை திறம் வியந்த செயல் மறந்து வாழ்த்ததுமே வாழ்த்ததுமே வாழ்த்ததுமே.
Thank you, Gopika. Now I request Monisha from 3rd BCom A to deliver the welcome speech.
Good evening, everyone. A warm word of welcome to everyone for this auspicious occasion. First and the foremost, I would like to extend my special welcome to our chairman, Dr. K. Vasudevan, our vice chairman, engineer, Prasanna Venkatesh Vasudevan, and I also welcome our beloved principal ma'am, Dr. M. Uma, in absentia, who are all the pillar of our college and always thinks about the welfare of the students and encourage us. And now, I'm more delighted to welcome our resource person, our alumni, Ms. Vaishali Shekhar, who's an inspiration to many people. Thank you.
Thank you, Monisha. Next, it's my pleasure to invite Ms. Janaki, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce of Prince Sri Venkateswara Arts and Science College to share few words.
okay. In this happiest moment, I extend my hearty welcome all for this webinar. On behalf of Institution Citizen Consumer Club and Institution Innovation Council, I feel great honor and pleasure to welcome our alumni, Vishali Shekhar, for accepting this invitation and presiding over this webinar on the topic EduTech Startups and Student Safeties under Consumer Protections Law. Indian EduTech industries is the second biggest industries in the world. The EduTech industry startups in the India are changing the Indian education landscape. I'm sure that this webinar will guide our students to protect their safety and from the scams. Without further ado, let us begin our webinar.
Thank you, ma'am.
I now request ST Mridula from 3rd BCom B to share a few words about Institution Innovation Council.
Good evening, everyone. Institution Innovation Council, an initiative of Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India has established Innovation Cell to systematically foster the culture of innovation among all technology students. The function of IIC is to conduct various innovation and entrepreneurship related activities prescribed by Central MIC in time-bound fashion, and also to organize periodic workshops, seminars, interactions with entrepreneurs, investors, professional and create a mental pool for student innovators. And they also organize hackathons, idea competition, mini challenges, etc. with the involvement of industries. The major focus of IIC is to create a vibrant local innovation ecosystem to startup entrepreneurship, supporting mechanism in HAEs, and also to develop better cognitive ability among technology students. IIC benefits to institute, faculty, and students. No major capital investment required for establishing IIC as it will make use of existing local ecosystem, and they also create opportunity to nurture and prototype new ideas, mentoring by industry professionals, and visit new place and learn a new culture. The theme of IIC is Imagine, Innovate, and Invent. Thank you.
Thank you, Mridula. Now let's welcome Ms. Gayatri Priya, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, to share a few words about CC Club.
Citizen Consumer Club of our college is established on 2003 for the purpose of spreading the awareness about consumer rights and also highly concentrate on AAA, Aware, Alert and Act. A college Citizen Consumer Club vision are to enable students understand fundamental rights of citizen and make them realize and learn the fundamental duties of a good citizen. To make them aware of laws enacted for protection, welfare of consumers and enforcement authorities concerned. To build a base of enlightened citizen consumer as the foundation of future India. A college Citizen Consumer Club mission are to spread awareness on consumer rights amongst all consumer segment to students, to emerge as the best citizen consumer club at state level. To club works on the motivational seal of consumer groups and also on creating awareness among students at a very young age and through them the general public. To enable students understand fundamental rights of citizen and make them realize and learn the fundamental duties of a good citizen. The students equip themselves for teamwork and wholeheartedly help the consumers in upholding their rights and fundamental rights.
Yes, ma. Next.
Thank you, ma'am.
I now call upon Shiva Shakti from 3rd BCom B to introduce our resource person, Ms. Vishali Shegar, our alumni.
Good evening to one and all present here. Ms. Vaishali Shekhar has graduated BCom LLB, BCom from Prince and LLB from School of Excellence in Law, Tamil Nadu, Dr. Ambedkar Law University. She has experienced in civil litigation and real estate and consumer dupliance and also did diploma in applied finance and accounting, intended with State Legal Service Authority. Thank you. We feel grateful for accepting our invitation and becoming a speaker today's event. Now I request our resource person, Vaishali Shekhar, to take over the session.
Yes, thank you. Good evening to one and all present here. First of all, thanks for the opportunity given to me on this occasion. I will directly go to topic today. Will share my screen. Yes, what I'm going to speak. Are everyone audible?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Today, what I'm going to speak is about edutech startups and students protection under consumer protection laws. See, first of all, before entering into the topic, let me know how many of you know about consumer protection in general.
Consumer protection is about the how the consumer should be protected with the law. The consumer should have their rights about their purchase and so on. There are a lot of laws like right to hear, right to inform, right to be informed, and so many. I think.
Yes, good. Thank you. First of all, what is consumer protection is all about? In general, it actually safeguards the well-being and interest of the consumers through education, mobilization, and representation. See, for example, even in the Citizen Consumer Club, what their ultimate aim is to educate us, educate the students. As a student, what is the right we have, and what is the right of the society, and all these things comes under consumer protection. And it always ensures about the ensures that consumers make well informed about the decision about the choices and have access to effective redressal mechanism. See, as you said, not only the rights of the consumers is being looked onto, even the liabilities and duties of the consumers are also being looked onto. And in case of breach of said rights, or in such case, what is the remedy before, and before what forum we have to access? All these things are given under the present Consumer Protection Act 2019. And it also, this act in general ensures that protection of consumers, as well as makes the product, service, or sellers to ensure that everything is in accordance with law, and they are not being in the practice of defrauding the consumers. And next, where come the consumer protection came from in general? So upon outline, in accordance to outline, it will like consumer protection is all about people's protection. Where this protection came from? Through our constitution. Constitution of India, as you are aware, 1915, you would have read in your civics in your school time itself. What are the fundamental rights and directive principles of state policies which are ensuring the consumer protection? And first of all, we used to have a word in preamble like social justice. We the people of India, so and so. And there is a word called social justice in the preamble. That shows that each and every people in a country are supposed to be interested in so and so way, and we have to secure our social justice. Social justice is all about from richer to poorer, irrespective of the caste, creed, sex, religion, etc., what they are doing on, and what remedy, or in case of breach of any fundamental rights or duties, what we are from. And there are three main articles which we used, irrespective of any case laws, we are supposed to have, as an advocate, I'm saying, irrespective of any case laws or something, we always been touch upon these three articles as a main thing. Article 14. Article 14 speaks about equality. Equality in respect of all the aspects. Equality in law, equality before law, equal opportunities to be given. And there are many fundamental rights which gives. So here, being in prospect, with respect to consumer protection, all the consumers, irrespective of the age or irrespective of the caste or creed or irrespective of the service or goods they are, they all should be treated equally before the law. Say a person who is from a wider background should not be treated, lower background should not be treated less than that of the higher background, like kind of things. And in respect of next thing is Article 19, freedom of speech and expression, right to know. See, as they said, there are several rights by which consumers are being protected. Article 19 says about freedom of speech and expression, where when a person is purchasing a product, see, there are many, in present case, there are many social media influencers by mode of Facebook, Instagrams. What they are doing is the freedom of expression, speech and expression. To advertise a product, a private person is being involved. Those people are called as social media influencers, as we are all aware of it. They are expressing this, the Article 19, freedom of speech and expression is being fully enforced by them. In that sense, they are actually promoting, advertising a product. By the way, it is their own freedom, and they having such right for expression of their name. In such case, likewise, for consumers, being a consumer, they are under Article 14, they are having equality before law. They are having equal opportunity to use each and every product. Likewise, they are also having they are subjected to even what we say. They are ready for reviews too. What I mean is that. And with regard to Article 21, where it speaks about protection of life and personal liberty. Each and every human being is having personal liberty, and no person shall be deprived of it in actually. So I'm being a consumer, I'm getting a product. If I'm not satisfied with it, I am having all the right to enforce my right before the law. So these are the basic fundamental rights. There are many other rights too, but these are the basic fundamental rights which are subject to today's topic. And with regard to protection through directive principles, fundamental rights are something which can be enforced everywhere, even before High Court or Supreme Court, like kind of things. Directive principles of state policy are the main role being played by the played in the Constitution, as well as the present political scenario or whatever it is. It is like based on these state policies only, all the acts and all the say what, all kind of acts has been implemented, as well as all the rules and regulations are being made. Say, for example, even for education, there is one particular thing, up to 14 years they are supposed to get free education. That is under Article 39A. By say, there is some Right to Information Act 2005. So through that also comes under this directive principles of state policy, as well as even the Consumer Protection Act comes under this act. Let us see into Article 38 sub Article 1. So the basic thing is, the basic objective of the directive principles of state policy is for the welfare of the people. And Article 39B and C, which more particularly says that policies towards securing the distribution of the ownership and control of material resources of the community in such a way to subserve the common good, and the operation of economic system should result in concentration of wealth and means of production of common detriment. So what is the thing is, anything which is being done for the welfare of the society should not be concentrated only to the particular society, and it should be enough a common one. And these provisions in fact make the role of the state as the role of the dispenser of socio-economic justice, and they are playing the duty to ensure that justice is being done to each and every corners of the society, each and every sectors of the society. Likewise, Article 46, state shall endeavor to protect the economic interest of the weaker section of the society. Why not the why the weaker section should be deprived of anything? So to ensure that they have given an article under 46 to ensure the economic interest of weaker section of a society, of its population, and also protect them from social injustice and all forms of exploitation. So by this, even this is all about more about consumers protection. So being the consumer purchaser of one particular product, he should not be deprived of anything, a product or hiring some services, he should not be deprived of any of his services. And likewise, Article 47, duty of state to raise the level of nutrition standard of living and to improve public health, standard of living of the people. When the weaker section of the society is being deprived of its, in such case, there will not be a standard of living of the people, as well as the other social economic justice to be rendered by. So these are the basic articles that are from which the Consumer Protection Act came from. And not the Consumer Protection Act, earlier it was in 1986, an act is being enacted, and subsequently this act was repealed in 2019, and a new law named Consumer Protection Act 2019 came into force. Apart from those acts, there are few other acts that will say about the protection which the consumer can, and by way he can sue too. See, there is one concept in law called procedural law and substantial law. Substantial law, which always says about the rights, that what we are going to speak here about is about the substantial law, what rights we seek before law. And procedural aspect is something through what means or how we are going to approach the appropriate forum. And there are these many acts. It's a part of the thing I have incorporated here. These many acts which protects the interest of the consumers. So agricultural products, grading and marketing, this deals about black marketing, etc., etc. And Essential Commodities Act, as well as Prevention of Black Marketing and Maintenance of Supplies and Essential Commodities Act, and the Bureau of Indian Standards, which always ensures the standard of a particular product or services. These are all in general. And who is a consumer in general? Now coming to the main part, who is a consumer in general? The present act has defined who is a consumer. Section 2, subsection 7 of Consumer Protection Act 2019. It means any person, so individual buy any goods for consideration which has been paid or promised or partly paid or partly promised or under any system of deferred payment, and includes any user of such goods other than the person who buys such goods for consideration paid or promised or partly paid or partly promised or under system of deferred payment. See, the main thing is here to be considered is consideration. Whatever, anything, some consideration is something in return. You would have studied in business laws or Indian contract laws, like the word called consensus addendum. What it means is something in return. Consideration, what see, earlier there was barter system, no? Likewise in the present scenario, consideration is an important aspect. And coming to the next subsection, a consumer also hires or avails any of services for consideration. So here too, consideration plays a vital role. Why I am insisting about consideration is that when there is no consideration, well, there will not be any protection under this law. Hires or avails of any services for consideration which has been paid or promised or partly paid or partly promised or under any system of deferred payment, and includes any beneficiary of such services. And other than the person who hires or it also not only says the persons who hires it, or also on behalf of the persons who do it. But here it clearly explains that, but does not include a person who avails a service for any commercial purpose. That should not be in a commercial purpose. He should be an individual person. Once he is getting agreed, he must be the only person to sue for a kind of thing. And for the purpose of this clause, it has been mentioned in the act that commercial purpose does not include use by a person of goods bought and used by himself exclusively for the purpose of earning his livelihood by means of self-employment. Say, for example, if I'm getting a sewing machine, I'm using it for my own self-employment, I will not be coming under the term called commercial purpose. I'm using it as a commercial purpose because I'm earning out of it. Right, likewise. And the expression buys any goods and hires or any avails any services includes offline or online transaction through electronic means or by teleshopping or direct selling. So here, buying and selling or any services includes offline as well as online. Here today e-commerce plays a major role in it. Nowadays, after even prior to Corona or post Corona, that e-commerce plays a major role in each and every aspect of things that that plays a vital role, where people depends upon e-commerce, either both the buyers as well as the sellers. We have become the second largest country in the world as in respect of e-commerce industry. And coming to my topic, what is about edutech and edutech startups. See, the word in itself, it says it's all about education as well as technology. In general, it is about using technology in education in aspect of learning things. Coming to the point, edutech is a combination of education that refers to hardware and software designed to enhance teacher-led training in classrooms and improve students' education outcomes. See, there are many edutech startups have come up today after Corona. This decade, this last 10 years would say that it's a hype in edutech industry kind of things. There are many, earlier there were one or two, and now it has become hundreds and more than that. Well, where is the law to regulate it? That is the question and issue nowadays. And education technology is simply the study and ethical practice of facilitating learning and improving performance of creating, using and managing appropriate technological process and resources. See, all we use now is app to learn things. All we use now is a YouTube or some other platform, online platform to learn things. So what is the thing? In case of YouTube, we are just surfing only on free of cost, whereas in other educational startup like Unacademy, Educart, Byju's, etc., we are paying out and learning. Now even fourth and fifth standard students are learning about coding, right? Each and every aspects are covered under this edutech startups, and it is actually an amalgamation of hardware. Hardware here is the teacher, and software here is the technology, which connects the knowledge provider and seeker just with the click of a button. Simple. Likewise, you need not, for past two years, you haven't come to college, right? During Corona, we have been interacting online. We have conducted test online, even the semesters online, everything has went online. In classes where we are, both the teachers as well as students have been interacting online. See, even the people who have passed out or who have joined in were not aware what subjects they are till now, even now. So that kind of thing. See, in case of other educational institutions, what they are doing is, right, they are having two kind of models. I'll let you know in later stage. A tech startup is a company whose purpose is to bring technology products or services to market. These companies deliver new technology product or services or deliver existing technology product or services in new ways. See, earlier there were one particular model like one online class. Say for example, I am running a private tuition and I am running it through online. So now I am joining to a edutech startup and I'm getting paid a better one, and I'm rendering a service to students. So in such case, the new technological implementations have changed even my mind. Okay. Likewise, a student, say coming to the topic, a student, a consumer or not? Consumer. We have already seen the definition of a consumer. Who? So more particularly, I'm coming to the service stage of a service stage. In general, a consumer is what about any person hires or avails of any service for consideration, and as well as that consideration may be of any services may be on an offline or online. And in this context, if we see student, irrespective of any age, we would have been a consumer in any point of time in our life. Student also avail many services in edutech institution. Likewise, we are actually enrolling ourselves in any paid program. In that sense, we are actually a consumer to that particular education in startups or companies. See, there is one point of stage where educational institution and edutech startups has been differed. Educational institutions, those who are providing online services, will not come under this Consumer Protection Act. Say, for what reason it's that they are having a separate body to regulate them. Say, for example, University Grants Commission regulates me. See, in case of law, we are regulated by Tamil Nadu Ambedkar Law University. And in case of any other thing, say for even our college has been regulated through Madras University kind of things. So we educational institution where any defect on the administrational service be being come under the consumer protection, but any managerial services cannot be coming under this act or this purview of this act. And at last, the thing is the student will come under consumer protection. So in general, irrespective of anyone, as already said in the beginning, general rights of students as consumers, these as a consumer, we do have all the rights. As I said in Article 14, 19, and 21 of the Constitution, as well as in other things, we already have these 6 rights: right to safety, right to be informed, right to choose, and right to be heard, right to seek, and right to consumer education. This last right is what we are doing, and what what the webinar is all about. Consumer education. We are being educated through Citizen Consumer Club, right? So these are the rights available for us as a consumer in general, as well as consumer as a student. And coming to the point, what is e-commerce? So earlier, consumer protection is all about commerce. Commerce is earlier, in general, it is of a physical in nature, and presently everything went on to updation technically as well as technologically, it went on to updation. What is e-commerce in general? What Consumer Protection Act says about e-commerce is what I'm going to do it. Section 2, subsection 16 says about e-commerce, means buying or selling of goods or services, including digital products over digital or electronic network. See, earlier we go to shop, we purchase things. Presently, we are getting everything. See, online trading, all the online trading platforms like Amazon's and other things plays a vital role in e-commerce platform. That's why it has become, India has become the second largest world's second largest e-commerce trading industry. And in general, this is what about e-commerce is all about. And section 2, subsection 17 says about electronic service provider. So it means a person who provides technologies or process to enable a product seller to engage in advertising or selling goods or services to a consumer, and includes any online marketplace or online auction sites. See, even now, if you open Google, we will be, even if you see whatever any social media platforms, we will be looking on to advertisements. We will be looking, if you Google and search one thing, it will automatically redirect to any other pages which we open subsequently. If you're looking about any shopping items, it will come under next few seconds in any social media platforms like Facebook or Instagram. Likewise, what electronics, this is subject to some kind of data privacy. I will confirm my topic only as in respect of this alone. Section 2, subsection 17 says about electronic service provider, means a person who provides technologies or process to enable a product seller to engage in advertising or selling goods or services to a consumer. So where earlier days we used to have pamphlets or some kind of other mode to communicate that we have launched this shop here and we have launched that shop here and we have provided these kind of goods and we have provided these kind of newspaper. You see, even if you see in newspapers, we can see lots and lots of advertisement over there. Likewise, in case of online business or in case of e-commerce industry, the service provider here means that advertising or selling goods. It actually involves an advertisement as well as selling of goods and services. And moreover, what is goods and services? What we are all talking about is we here more particularly concentrated about the service which has been rendered by edutech startups. But in general, what are goods and services is the thing. Goods means of every kind of mobile property and includes food as well as so on so things. And in case of services, section 2, subsection 42. Service means service of any description which is made available to potential users and includes but not limited to the provisions of facilities in connection with banking, financing, insurance, transport, processing, supply of electrical or other energy, telecom, board or lodging or both. See, in general, what is services? Here it says about services is not limited to only those things, those eight or nine things, banking, finance. So So if we are going for a bank, we are opening an account, we are depositing money. These are all the service rendered by banks. Likewise, financing, we are going for another bank, we are getting finance or obtaining loans. Those things are services not confined only to those things alone. So services which is more than that, which is of a commercial, there should be a consideration in service, and that is the that only will come under Consumer Protection Act. And coming to next, Consumer Protection Act actually came in the year 2019, and subsequently Corona came. And in spite of that, there are many startups, and more particularly the edutech startups which came here. Earlier, there was no regulatory body. Even now, there is no particular regulatory body to regulate educational startups, edutech startups like this. But whereas there came one rule called Consumer Protection E-commerce Rules 2020, which came into force on 23/7/2020, which all says about many things in respect of e-commerce alone. Not only in respect of edutech startups, but also in generally about e-commerce transactions, online trading platforms, even online gaming platforms, in respect of all the things. So for what it applies to e-commerce rules under Consumer Protection Act applies to these 4 things. For what? All goods and services bought or sold over digital or electronic network, including digital products. So here, Byju's app, say for example, edutech startups like Byju's or Unacademy, they use a product or a particular software to engage the teachers as well as students at one particular platform to learn things and to offer courses for amount, as well as to render all sort of services which is relating to the education. So just keep in mind that not only goods come under this, even services in respect of any matters. Any matters in the sense, even a parlor services also coming under the services, and even they can render remedy under Service Consumer Protection Act too. And likewise, education and technology now being at a greater advancement, they are also coming under this. And coming to next one, all models of e-commerce, including marketplace and inventory models. We are going to see about it at later stage. All models of e-commerce. See, more particularly, the two things is marketplace as well as inventory models. What is marketplace and inventory model? We will learn it later. And coming to the third one, all e-commerce retail, including multi-channel, single brand retailers and single brand retailers in single or multiple formats. These are the different types of retail done in e-commerce, like B2C, consumer to consumer, as well as business to consumer, like kind of those kind of things. And all forms of unfair across all models of e-commerce. So this is for what the act is, Consumer Protection. Consumer Protection Act is mainly for mainly in case of any deficiency or defect or any unfair trade practices, we can approach the appropriate forum and sort of a remedy before that forum. Likewise, in respect of e-commerce also, where earlier there was no proper laws to regulate it, regulated in all means. Say for example, for defrauding the pages, there are see, if you look onto each and every aspect, when there is a good, there is a bad too in that, irrespective of any subject matter of law or in respect of any subject matter, any other subject matter. All forms of unfair trade practices across all models of e-commerce. All models here means both marketplace as well as inventory models. That has the term has been given. The term marketplace and inventory is subject to what we already learned in our marketing in BCom. And in the here it more fully says about the pattern of business. What is then? And provided that these rules shall not apply to any activity of natural persons carried out in personal capacity and not being part of any professional or commercial activity. Say this Consumer Protection Act is giving two exemptions like when any service is rendered as a free of cost, that will not be protected under Consumer Protection Act. Likewise, where any particular thing which involves the personal qualification of an individual or done by an individual as a service, etc., for free or something of that that kind, out of humanity, that will not come under the Consumer Protection Act. So even e-commerce rules, say for example, here if we go on Google for any model question papers of this university, we can get it for free. Subsequently, but if we pay it, for example, I'm saying, if you are paying or if you are subscribing, making subscription of payment and downloading some question papers where your right differs, and when you download it from the Google, the right of view differs when you have any kind of deficiency over it. And here comes the point. What is e-commerce entity? This was not earlier defined in any Consumer Protection Act, either in 1986 or 1996. Sorry, 2019. And this e-commerce rules of 2020 came into force, and it has defined what is e-commerce entity. Section 3B of Consumer Protection E-commerce Rules 2020 says all about it. E-commerce rules, e-commerce entity means any person where the ingredients of the thing is who owns, operates or manages digital or electronic facility or platform for electronic commerce, but does not include a seller offering his goods or services for sale on a marketplace e-commerce entity. See, it all says about entity which more fully renders a service. It must own it, and it should operate it, and it should manage only through digital thing. Say for in any kind of educational startups, we will not be having any face-to-face conversation or any individual attention to particular student kind of things. Whatever the course we take or whatever the amount or fee we paid, we will not be handled any person as an individual thing. We don't have any direct contact between them, and all we get is at last we get is a certificate or some kind of certificate or degrees. Those degrees, say degrees given by educational institutions is different from degrees given there. All the educational, all the courses like engineering, engineering doctors cannot be given as given through edutech startups. Only few certificate courses as well as diploma programs can be done by education startups. So in such case, e-commerce entity is confined only to few things. And more particularly, this says about the who owns it, who operates it, and who manages it. All these things, three things should be done digitally. There should not be any physical office structure, or there should not be any direct contact between the consumer, a student as well as the teacher. All it should be done by apps or any other platforms. Here come where education startup or companies is an e-commerce entities or not. As I said earlier, edutech companies or startups which renders its service for free or of a kind of personal services is not under the purpose of service. So what is service in general? What we learned earlier. So anything which is available free is not a service at all. And anything which requires a personal qualification of a person is not a service at all, where his personal qualification is confined to his own interest of doing it or not to do. So say for example, if I'm asking anybody to draw my pic and give me, that is not, it is at his own his or her own discretion to either to draw it and any artist. But if the same artist is doing it as a business, here I am having all kind of remedies before the Consumer Protection Act, subject to my enforcement of it. Whereas to protect the interest of students under the Consumer Protection Act, and edutech startups or companies which comes under the purview of e-commerce entity, where such startups or companies, as I said earlier, in the e-commerce, the definition of e-commerce entity would have interested it all again before. It should own a digital, any startup company, edutech startup company should own a digital or electronic facility or a platform, and it should manage a digital or electronic facility or platform or operates it. So it should own, manage, and operate. So all if it is not complying with all the three or any of these three, then that is not coming under the purview of edutech startups or even edutech companies. Likewise, here I wish to say one thing. Where we all hear a consumer, even consumer is a person. Can a company be a consumer? Yes, of course it can be a consumer. If I'm running a company, I wish to render a service from another company or any individual person, I can, in case of any grievance or any grievance from my end, I can sue that particular company or person individually before any forum. Likewise, what is a person? Who can be a person? As we learned already in contract or business laws, a person can be an individual or a firm or a Hindu undivided family. See, currently there are many things called limited liability partnership and one-man company. After the emergence of Companies Act 2013, one-man company, but through which only startups has come forward to this extent, and it will be subsequently will have some kind of development stage in future, rapid development in future too. Even a cooperative company, cooperative society be a person, and even association of persons, body, any corporation or any artificial jurisdictional person not falling under the preceding of subclauses. See, artificial jurisdiction person is something, they have some power over it, but they cannot claim over it. The person or member of a particular forum or something, they doesn't see, they can avail for administrative services and not for the procedural aspects. So these are the 7 places, persons who come under the term person under the Consumer Protection Act. And now coming to educational startups or companies, educational institution. See, that comes the difference between educational institution and education startup or companies, what I already said about. Educational institution in general, see, ourselves, what we are learning in our college, we are actually regulated by a body, regulated by an institution. And when we are in defect of any services, we cannot claim under this Consumer Protection Act. Whereas if you're going for any coaching classes, though there is no any regulatory body, we can claim, because we are private coaching classes where we are going, therefore update our knowledge, or any kind of courses we going to do, we are going to update our knowledge, and we are being paid for the services rendered by them to us. In such case of any default or deficiency or unfair trade practices, we are having each and every right to obtain, get it done right. See, here comes educational institution in general is not a service provider, and it is regulated by regulatory authorities. Say, for example, University Grants Commissioner, Ambedkar Law University, Madras University, Gindi University, Annamalai University, respective Tanjavur University. All the universities are under one, but it would have been established under one particular act, and the any institutions coming under that particular act will come under educational institutions, and they will not come under the Consumer Protection Act. They can, where one particular thing, consumer protection can be claimed through administration in case of any deficiency of service rendered by them. we cannot claim our grievance when we got failed in any of the subjects in exams, right? Likewise, but in case of a facility which is promised by them that these facilities are provided by our campus and an administrative capacity, in case of such deficiency of that services, that can be done. And EduTech, likewise, this is of a physical in nature, what I was talking about, and presently as education, which is of a virtual in nature. EduTech startups or companies in general is not educational institutions. They are just, they are of varied. There is a difference between educational institution and educational startup. What is the thing is, whereas educational startups or companies is not being regulated by anybody till now. There is no such act or law. Only this e-commerce rules have incorporated many rules as well as laws to regulate and protect the interest of the consumers. Consumers here in the sense students. Likewise, startup companies in general is not an educational institution and they are not governed by any regulatory authority. And in case of any deficiency or defect or unfair trade practices, these are the vital roles that deficiency, defect or unfair trade practices are the vital roles that plays and which protects. And consumer protection, where comes the consumer protection? On aggrievance or grievance or non-performance or performed any of these activities come under consumer protection. If we are not, we have been given or supplied with deficient services, or we have been, in case of goods, if you have been given the defective goods, and we have been fooled by unfair trade practices where the product's rate is so and so, or we are paying above MRP. In such case, these are the things for unfair trade practices. In such case, protection will automatically come into play, and we all have all the rights over the law. And more particularly in respect of service provider, this EduTech service provider, as I said earlier, it is all about if you are paying as a fee and engaging ourselves or enrolling ourselves in any of the services which the education company renders, this will come, and we have a remedy under appropriate forum. It is the consumer code. EduTech startups and as an e-commerce entity. As I already said about e-commerce entity, it plays off two models, more particularly two models which has been explained in the e-commerce rules. These two models actually shows before 2020 rules, there is no particular thing or a procedure to regulate e-commerce entities. Even more particularly, the education startup is not being regulated till now. But this e-commerce tools helping us in such case of any deficiency or unfair trade practices to overcome it through consumer protection. What here comes the two major roles that has been set in e-commerce entity. One is marketplace e-commerce entities, another one is inventory based in e-commerce entities. Simple example I will give for these things. See, I will say about section 3G. It all says about e-commerce marketplace e-commerce entities, which means it provides an information technology platform on digital or electronic network to facilitate transaction between the buyers and sellers. What we are more concentrated is to about facilitate. Say for example, there is one particular thing called EduCart as well as Simply Learn. It is more particular on, if I wish to say, Amazon, Flipkart, those things are, it's a kind of marketplace e-commerce entity where they are, that's an app that coordinates both buyers as well as sellers. Sellers can sell their product to the, whereas buyers can buy their product seller under the name of that particular app. This comes on a marketplace. Likewise, EduCart and Simply Learn, where these kind of marketplace e-commerce entity, what they do is they get enrolled to as many as institutions or universities which provides courses in each and every aspect. Say for example, any kind of diploma courses or even any kind of any certification courses on payment of services. what we are approaching when we are approaching the app or website, we are engaging ourselves, we are paying fees to that app or that particular website, and we are getting certificates from that particular universities which has enrolled under that particular website or apps. In such case, you are not dealing directly with universities, or you are not dealing directly with any educational institutions. Say for example, even many universities provide online courses, right? Each and many universities, though they have offline courses too, they also provide for presently they have come on to online courses. In such case, those universities will get enrolled like a seller in Amazon, any trading or any trading platforms. The particular university will get enrolled to this kind of educational startup companies, and we as a consumer or as a student or as a buyer in other trading platforms, we will approach them, we will pay fees, or we will enroll ourselves in particular course, and we will get started preparing well, we will get study materials over it, and we will get all other ancillary services for which we have been enrolled. This is one kind of model, marketplace e-commerce model. And another one is inventory based e-commerce entity. And 2020 e-commerce rules have been more particularly defined this term too. Means an e-commerce entity which owns the inventory of goods or services and sells such goods or services directly to the consumers, and shall include single brand retailers and multi-channel single brand retailers. See, this is similarly like directly approaching that particular person or some kind of institution that directly provides services to the consumers. Say for example, Byju's and other Unacademy or other various edutech startups provides only inventory based models, not like the previous marketplace entities where they facilitate the buyer and seller, like similar colloquially to say like a broker kind of thing, like buyer and meeting of buyers and sellers on one platform kind of things. Say for example, even in OLX we do it. We sell sellers will sell their products and buyers will buy their products in the particular app. Likewise, market basis of that here we contact the consumers directly contact the particular source which provides the service in itself. See, we are engaging ourselves in some kind of particular in these kind of inventory based models. What I'm saying is about education institution which is directly offering courses to us. In such case, we pay to them, and those persons who take classes directly from that particular apps, and not like any other marketplace models and all. So we are being rendered service in such case. And there is also another model that has not been defined in any act or something. It is freemium model. What we get, say as we said earlier, we are being access to n number of study materials, n number of articles, n number of if you have assignments, what we are doing, what colloquial terms, what we do is plagiarism. We are accessible to each and every information available here today. So likewise, freemium model, few of the education, even for Educata, Simply Learn or Unacademy, they are providing question papers or question banks for free of cost. In such case, when there is a defect or any kind of deficiency in that aspect, we cannot seek them, we cannot treat ourselves as a consumers and appropriate and we cannot approach appropriate forum in that aspect. Whereas in case of marketplace models or as well as inventory based models, where either we act as either one they act as a facilitator, or another one is who is acting as a direct service provider. In both the cases, they will be as a consumer having right over them. More particularly in case of marketplace e-commerce entities, where we cannot directly on grievance or grievance, we cannot directly approach that particular marketplace entity, but we can, on behalf of, in respect of administrative aspect, or in case of deficiency of service, we can approach the marketplace entity, that particular platform, as well as the universities, where the we are having two remedies in such case. One is with that particular app or platform, another one is directly with that particular educational institution or university which is providing in respect of online courses. And second inventory model is it is simple as that. They are providing service, and in case of deficiency of such services, we are being we can sue them through appropriate forum. And it is as a student, when we are going for any learning for any online programs, we have to ensure before it what are the pros and cons we have, because it is our own money we are getting invested into it. Our own parents' money we are getting invested into it. In such case, what if we have been defaulted or we have been provided with deficiency of service? It is more easier to get remedy before any court of law in case of inventory-based model rather than the marketplace models. These two concepts has been more particularly been regulated for ourselves, for our kind of what we are saying about edutech and startups, and these two has been invented only in, regulated only in 2020. Even prior to that, we doesn't have any law, and still it is to be regulated to the larger extent that these edutech startups should be regulated in each and every aspect. From see, consumers not only about if we get into this topic, we have to supposed to read about Companies Act 2013, as well as many other act. Contract Act, we have to read about contract acts as well. What we are entering here is also a contract, implied contract, and it touches upon various prospects of law, various aspects of consumer psychology, etc., etc., etc. And students who avail free services, see, as I said earlier, any services availed on free of cost not comes under this purview, and which is of if say for example, I'm being a tutor, I'm being a private tutor, I have to, if you are rendering my service of my tutoring in a private nature, you cannot claim any deficiency of service against me. But when I'm running an institution as an e-commerce entity, when I'm running an app where I'm giving a software so that you could learn, in such case, you can, in case of any deficiency on my services, you can obviously sue before the appropriate forum and claim for damages. What are the remedy? And the remedy you have is either to see, there's one such case in Educat, not Educat, it is Byju's, where on entering of a contract, they are supposed to serve the soft copies of books to the students within 3 days, but they haven't, but they have failed and gave that particular soft copies of book on 20 days. So the time cap, the contract is it is a see, we are supposed to click on in systems for even in any apps we access terms and conditions, irrespective of with or without reading it, we are clicking on it, okay, we are proceeding for next. Likewise, we used to do it also. And in case of the e-commerce entities, and in case of these kind of online procedural aspects also, we are supposed to keenly look onto each and every terms and conditions interested into it. There are several terms as in contracts and even in arbitration that if you are in case of any grievance, you cannot proceed directly to consumer forum, or in such case you are supposed to come and we have to discuss in person as an arbitrator kind of thing. So each and everything before entering into any kind of contract, either presently as a student or even after completing a graduation as an employee, or as an in future as an entrepreneur, or anyone starting as a startup like this, each and every aspect we have to look into it. And coming to the conclusion, the more particular thing to concentrate here as to EduTech company is presently that has not been regulated. There is no regulation. Say for example, in case of running a college, we have been regulated by University Grants Commission, and we have been interested. There are so many rules which regulates the colleges, in respect of number of students they are going to get. Even for that, they have to access, seek permissions kind of thing. Likewise, in case of EduTech startups, there is no such regulations, and purely the startups are enjoying out of it. And they are enjoying out of the loopholes available in law too. So prior to entering onto any courses, see nowadays, even if you find in once you get graduated in BCom, even in your provision certificate or a degree certificate, you will find the word foundation. Foundation is the term. This is not, you are just getting graduated, and this is only the foundation for what you have learned. And more than that, we have to do upgrade ourselves in each and every aspect. Nowadays, having MBBS, once it has been said as a big thing, it's a doctor kind of thing, but only MBBS degree is not a degree at present. They have to have some add-ons. That is what MD is all about. That is what MS is all about. That is what additional courses, anesthesia or something. It is all about the add-ons. Likewise, getting a mere degree of BCom is not enough at this stage of career. We have to add on each, and we have to upgrade ourselves. Even in law, if we see LLB, until now, I'm surprised to know that many of them not even know about the exact term of what LLB stands for. Everyone will say it reverses Bachelors of Law, but it is not all about. We will say at legum baccalaureus. The term is lex legis baccalaureus. We will term it as a legal baccalaureus in law. And we have been provided with that degree, and the said degree is a foundation one for it. And that is not at all enough. And in respect of each and every subject we learn, it is all about foundation, and it is all about growing age by age. And in respect of law, what I'm saying is all about we have to learn until we until we last breathe, each and every aspect. So coming to my topic, EduTech startups, at the interest of students, and at the interest of students as a consumers, if we look on to in generally, we are as a student and as a consumer, in case of any deficiency of services or any unfair trade practices done by EduTech startups, we can surely sue them against them. Whereas we have to always ensure upon what we are going to and what we are even prior to that. There is one term called notice in one particular act named Transfer of Property Act. Notice is not the notice in general. We should, before purchasing a property, we have to look onto each and every aspect. We should not rely only upon the landlord's words alone. We are supposed to check encumbrance, and we are supposed to check the contents of the agreement, or each and every aspect to be noted. Likewise, before entering into any contract, or before entering into any additional courses or any other upgradation of ourselves before any institution, we have to ensure about the services rendered by them. And that is useful in all the senses too. Once, if we are ensuring it, we might know, or we know the defects or deficiency they are doing against it by getting our own money too. Each and every aspect to be noted. And that comes the end of the session. Thank you so much for hearing me patiently for past 1 hour. Ma'am?
Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable work.
Thank you.
Hi, Vishali.
Hi, ma'am.
We are very proud of you and thank you for taking out time from your busy schedule to grace this event. And your words very much inspiring and encouraging us, Vishali. I must thank the organizing team and volunteers for working hard for the past few days to make this webinar a success. Thank you all. Thank you, Vishali.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. I'm actually really grateful to you. I do remember the day when I sat for campus interview, you have patted me behind my back and said you have encouraged me in all means. I'll never forget that. Thank you so much for that. And it's my pleasure to share here about her too. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Vishali. If you have any queries, you can ask.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Now the session is open for query. Participants who wish to interact can unmute your mic and put forth your queries.
Ma'am, how can we enhance consumer protection, ma'am?
In what sense you are saying about?
Among the societies?
Yes, actually citizen consumer club is playing that role only. From the beginning, we have to know for what we are. Each and every day we are being a consumer, some or the other. So we have to ensure, even by getting a small packet of breads, we have to ensure the expiry date. In case of default, we are supposed to get refund from them. See, the basic thing is we have to think of our own right and our own priority before anything. Simply to say, it is not just about money or not. It is the hard work. We are earning it out of hard work, right? So each and every aspect we have to look onto it, and we have to ensure getting knowledge of consumer protection is all about we individuals. Now, in this case of technological advancement, each and every aspect. See, say for example, if you are getting even a medicine, we are ensuring it what kind of side effects it will give. Likewise, in each and every aspect, we have to ensure it. And we have to go through each and every process. Consumer protection is not about what law says and all. It is all about what human thinks of. So it's see, some people in case of what is there in refund of 20 rupees and all. It is not about that. See, in that sense, if even you are being defrauded in that rupees 20 itself. So it is our own mind setup, and it is our own self-development and knowledge that we have to stay protected for ourselves in any aspect of life. Not only in respect of consumer protection, in respect of anything.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
And you get me? Any other?
Everyone, please switch on your video, ma.
And thanks for the organizers too.
Vishali, please switch on your video. We need to take photo.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Vishali.
Okay.
Next, please proceed.
Thank you, ma'am. Now let's call Vijayalakshmi from 2nd BCom B to propose the vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the organizing team, it's my pleasure to propose a vote of thanks on this beautiful occasion. My heartily thanks to our speaker, Ms. Vaishali Shekhar, who spared time from her busiest schedule to grace this occasion. Your thoughts have enlightened our minds and have shown us a new path. My sincere thanks to our chairman, Dr. K. Vasudevan sir, and our Vice Chairman, Engineer Prasanna Venkatesh Vasudevan sir, who guide us for the bright future. A special mention to our respected Principal Ma'am, Dr. M. Uma, who supports us to do our best and stands as pillar of strength. I would like to thank all our coordinators, technical staffs, and faculties who made this webinar a great success. I also thank all our participants who made this event a memorable one. Thank you all.
Thank you, Vijayalakshmi. Let us conclude the session by National Anthem.
जनगण मन नायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जाहे तव शुभाशिष माहे गाहे तव जय गाता जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.